Hello everyone, this is Dr. Arup Kumar Nath, an assistant professor teaching in the Department of English and Foreign Languages, Tezpur University. So today I am going to discuss an interesting topic, language endangerment. In Assamese we call it as Bhashar Sankot, অর্থাৎ বিপদাপন্ন ভাষা. By the end of this presentation, you will be able to know what is language endangerment, why languages become endangered, the worldwide scenario of endangered languages along with the Indian scenario, and why to save languages. Now let us try to understand what is language endangerment or what is language death. So Nath 2011 has said that a language is referred to as endangered when it is on the verge of extinction, when its speakers cease to use it in their most predominant domains such as home, market, playground, office, etc. And when people, in a particular community, when they stop passing it over to the next generation, then we can call that language is in the verge of getting endangered. A language death can be seen as the end point in the process of language endangerment, when a language ceases to be spoken. So this definition was given by Salabang 2012. Dorian lists 3 symptoms of language death: fewer speakers, number 1, fewer domains of use, and structural simplification. Cross in 1992 estimated that 90% of the world's languages would be severely endangered by 2100. Now the question is, what are the reasons of language endangerment? What are the factors of language endangerment? The causes of language endangerment fall into 4 main categories. For example, natural catastrophe, such as famine, disease, or things like that. In there are countries like Papua New Guinea, Malol. So there were several earthquakes and the entire community was wiped out. Then war and genocide kind of situation also. There also sometimes the entire community gets wiped out. For example, Tasmania, then Brazilian indigenous people, El Salvador, etc. Then overt repression from a particular class or particular ruling class in the name of national unity or for civil resettlement. For example, Kurdish, Welsh, Native American languages, etc. So they have seen this particular phenomenon. Then due to cultural, political, economic dominance also, sometimes languages do die. Grenoble and Vallée 1998 describe economics as the single strongest force influencing the fate of endangered languages. That means because of the economic condition also, because of the economic order, world economic order, sometimes languages had to face this situation. If you look at this particular slide, you will see those red marks, they are highly endangered languages across the globe. Not only in a particular country, everywhere you will see this particular phenomenon. Now let us try to understand some statistics about language endangerment. There is a website called Acknowledgment, which talks about, which makes a lot of surveys on languages. It has enlisted 7,097 languages till December 2018, and out of these 6,000 to 7,000 human languages, 43% are said to be endangered, according to a UNESCO report which was published in 2010. And if you see, there are 8 languages which have over 100 million speakers. They are Mandarin Chinese, Spanish, English, Bengali, Hindi, Portuguese, Russian, and Japanese. And they consist nearly 2.4 billion speakers out of 6 to 6.5 billion world population. And if we extend this count to include just the top 20 languages, then we will find that a total of 3.2 billion people, that means over half of the world population, they speak only 20 languages. Just 4% of the world's languages are spoken by 96% of the population. and 96% of world languages are spoken only by about 4% of world population, which is something very interesting. Crystal 2000 has said that 500 languages are spoken by less than 100 people, and around 1,500 languages have less than 1,000 speakers, and 3,340 languages have less than 10,000 speakers. So David Crystal, he has enlisted 51 languages with just a single speaker, which is something very, very scary situation. And out of these languages, you will find 28 languages in Australia, 8 in the USA, 3 in South America, 3 in Africa, 6 in Asia, and 3 in the Pacific Islands. Interestingly, the world's languages have a highly uneven distribution. I will come to show this in a slide below. 4% are in Europe, 15% are in America, both Americas, and 31% in Africa, 50% in Asia and the Pacific region. The countries mentioned have the highest distributions. You will find countries like Papua New Guinea and Indonesia, which have alone 25% of world languages between them. And most interestingly, one language dies in every 2 weeks. So that means it is a very, very alarming situation. See, in this slide you will see the distribution of world languages. If you see Chinese language, Chinese Mandarin, then English, Spanish, Arabic, Hindi, Russian, Portuguese, and French language. And most of the places in the world, they are actually dominated by these languages only. If we see the health of the world languages, then we will see, we can say that 57.17% languages are safe or data deficient. They do not have enough data. Then 9.92% languages are vulnerable. That means they might die sometimes. Then 10.75% languages are definitely endangered languages. Then 8.78% languages are severely endangered. Then 9.57 languages are critically endangered, and 3.82% languages have already been extinct since 1950. Now, the Indian scenario is also not very encouraging. India has approximately 860 languages, but the census of India 2001 has returned 122 mother tongues in India. So among these languages, including census reports and other reports also, India counts maximum number of endangered languages plus extinct languages, that is 197. Out of these, 81 languages are vulnerable, 62 languages are definitely endangered languages, 7 languages are severely endangered languages, and 42 languages are critically endangered. And out of these, 5 languages have already died. Now, how to measure the health of languages? The most comprehensive language vitality scale, that is UNESCO's language vitality and endangerment framework, is used to measure the health of languages. The first one is intergenerational language transmission. If one generation, normally the parent generation, do not want to pass the language to the next generation, then we can call the language is going to die soon. Then the absolute number of speakers also has a role to play in measuring the health of language. Then proportion of speakers within the local population. Then trends in existing language domains. There are different domains such as home domain, school domains, university, colleges, administration, whether that language is used or not. Then response towards new domains and media. For example, in the recent time, domains like social media has become very important. So there, whether the languages are making a place or not. Then materials for language education and literacy, that also has a role to play in the overall health of the language. The materials should be good, and the governmental and institutional language policies, including the official status and use, because until and unless there is a intervention from the government, the languages cannot move forward. And most importantly, community members' attitudes towards their own language. People, we have seen many a time people show negative attitudes towards their own language, and because of that reason, many languages die. Then the amount and quality of documentation is also important. If a language does not have enough dictionaries, grammar books, etc., and a body of literature, then eventually that language will die one day. And UNESCO's Vitality Framework has also given some yardsticks like safe, vulnerable, definitely endangered languages, severely endangered languages, critically endangered languages. So in critically endangered languages, the youngest speakers are the grandparents and older than that, and they speak the language partially and infrequently, and extinct when there are no speakers left. So the question is, why to save endangered languages? UNESCO's website cites linguistic diversity as a pillar of cultural diversity. When language is fed, so does the world's rich tapestry of cultural diversity. So to maintain this diversity, we must save the languages. Then the loss of knowledge tradition. All societies have oral literature, that is cultural traditions expressed through language in the form of stories, legends, historical narratives, poetry and songs. Once a language dies, along with it, all these things also go away. So because of that reason only, we must maintain, we must save our languages. Then Sudarland places such as Indonesia and Papua New Guinea, which have a high number of different biological species, also have high linguistic diversity. So that means for that reason also we should maintain our languages. And many a time languages are often seen as identity marker. If you do not speak your own language, then you do not have your own identity. So it becomes, language might become important for identity when a group feels it is losing its identity due to political or social reasons. Now look at this picture. So this was collected by Professor Anvita Abdi, and it was given in her dictionary, Andamanese dictionary. So this snake, which was found in the Andaman island, it is known for its oily secretions, which were supposedly very beneficial for the skin. So young girls catch it to rub it on their bodies as a moisturizer. So it is a kind of knowledge, source of knowledge. So generally while one girl holds the mouth, another rubs the struggling snake against her body and face. So apparently this struggle increases and enhances the secretion. So along with if language dies, then along with this we are going to also lose all those things. Now coming to the conclusion part, we should maintain, we should try our best to save our languages. The government and the policymakers must realize the ethos and philosophy of multiculturalism. The group differentiate identity, which was propounded by Kimlicka, that must be recognized, and through institutionalization, languages should be recognized as a major identity marker. Then rather than assimilationist approach, the government should follow the integrationalist approach, and the minority linguistic rights and linguistic human rights must be protected. And through constructive multilingualism, we should promote constructive multilingualism so that all the languages have a space to flourish in a multilingual society. So these are my references. Thank you very much for watching this video. Thank you.